Hello guys, it's Dylan here, and I just wanted to have a little chat about my journey from being quite a hardcore full-time Linux user to kind of then jumping boats a little bit and switching back to Windows and kind of sticking with that for the long run in a terms of sense of 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 months, and now finally back on Linux and here to stay. And I just wanted to have a little chat about why I went to Windows. Should you go to Windows? Should you stay on Linux? Should you switch to Linux from Windows? Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. Let's have a little chat about it. So, I love Linux. I'm currently on Linux Mint right now, as I'm kind of not. I used to use a Debian install with Awesome Window Manager, which is quite powerful. It was quite good. I'm trying to take a stance where I want my content now to be very accessible to lots of new people joining Linux. So for that reason, I'm going to be using Linux Mint. It's also easier for me, more chilled out, and helps me take a step back and just kind of enjoy the experience without ripping my hair out, as you could put it. And one of the first reason why I switched to Windows was mainly a compatibility reason. I don't know if some of you are in the same boat here, but I use a Xbox, and obviously on Xbox, there's a Windows app which connects quite well, and you can download apps for it and remote into your console. And for me, that was a killer feature, which obviously is not available here on Linux. But one thing I quickly noticed when I switched to Windows was the lack of customization. So I'm obviously here now on Linux. I've got this widget here. You can't really get widgets on Windows. You can go to panel edit mode here, going to add a panel to the left, the right, the top. As you'll know, a while ago in Windows 11, you can no longer change where your taskbar is, which for some people is a killer. It's not. It ruins the experience for them. And obviously, I won't go on to theming and stuff like that. But the point is here is that it is a very big thing. Customization. So I feel like if you want compatibility, maybe Windows might be a good choice, but I'll get onto that a bit more in a minute. And then if you want more kind of customization, you should really go to Linux, to be completely honest with you. So with the customization compatibility, Windows kind of took the goal for me, but it felt boring. But I stuck with it because I thought, I'll stick with this, I'll make it good, and it'll be good using the command line. But I'm not gonna lie, the Windows PowerShell is it's not Bash for me. It's not the same as Bash. Bash gives me something that Windows PowerShell doesn't. That's something that I enjoy. And what you get Neo Fetch and stuff like HTOP and Ubuntu on Windows. It's not quite the same. So if I go on to the website here for Windows 11, we can quickly see. So this is the design of Windows 11. I could probably zoom this in a little bit here so you can see this. But it's modern. I'll give it that. It's sleek, but it's not customizable. Here you see it. That's how you get it. The only customization you have is moving these icons to the left and a dark mode. So it's quite lackluster in that sense of customization, and kind of really personalizing it and making it your own. And you also see they've actually also, if I go to download now, what you'll see is they've currently removed 32-bit downloads, which is a big blow to some people. Although I know there isn't many 32-bit devices around anymore, it's still quite a big deal for some. So, should you switch to Linux if you have an old device? Yes. Should you switch to Linux if you like customization? Yes. Should you switch to Linux if your device is 32-bit? Well, yes. Of course you should. But then, also now we get onto gaming. Now, I don't have a particularly powerful laptop, but you can see from the specs on screen here. 8 gigs of RAM, Ryzen 5500U, which is actually quite decent, and integrated graphics. So I don't tend to do many gaming sessions on my laptop, hence why I have a console. But if you are a gamer and you play games like Fortnite and Warzone with anti-cheats, you are really going to struggle on Linux if you don't know what you're doing, especially since we have to rely on the Linux community to come out and produce projects that will even allow you to get into those games. Is not going to be a consistent experience. So if you're a gamer for now, depending on what games you play, because I recommend actually go to ProtonDB and check what games you have. If you primarily use Steam, you should be okay. But if you're using something like the Epic's games launcher, I personally wouldn't like if you've got a couple games and it's going to work, that's fine. But if that's the only thing you use and you're playing like Fall Guys, Fortnite, I'd probably stay away from it. Firstly, because Fall Guys is a pain to get set up if you don't have the Steam version. It's near impossible on Epic Games. And Fortnite just straight out won't work. And I know it's a very popular game, which is why I'm labelling it. But if you play games like Minecraft and other games on Steam, maybe like Team Fortress or something like that, you're not going to have many issues on Linux. You're probably going to enjoy it quite a bit, I feel. So just keeping that in mind here. Another important thing is, do you like the terminal? I love the terminal. It's one of my favourite things. I can do everything. One of my personal favourites is C Matrix. Like, there's nothing for me that I enjoy more than interfacing with a terminal on a daily basis and looking at all of this stuff. Now, I'm not personally a big programmer. I mainly focus more on Linux from an open source standpoint and a desktop user standpoint. Whilst I do like programming, I do it quite a lot. Every now and then, I try to stick to I usually do basic stuff mainly in Python. So for me, it's not a big issue. It's not a big thing, so I can't really comment on it. But I do have friends who use Linux, who are programmers, and from what I've heard, it is better for developing in than Windows in most cases, because it's faster. It's more like the way that the file order and stuff is set up makes it a lot easier. I mean, if I'm wrong here, please shout me out in the comments for this, but this is just what I believe to be true. But I'm not a programmer, so don't take me on that. Don't count me on that. Just don't make a YouTube video on Linux. But really, that's kind of it. So I'm back on Linux. I'm here to stay. And put your guys' experience with Linux or Windows down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And I'll see you next time.